This is a real case in which names have been changed, but not the circumstances. Detective Charles Jones is a 41-year-old married father of 3 daughters, an 18-year veteran of a large Southern California police force. Charlie is a leader in the task force hunting for the Night Stalker, a serial killer and rapist terrorizing Southern California from 1983 on. We meet Charlie and his wife in July 1985.
I have no idea what's bothering him. I really love him, and I want to get back to what we had. All he'll say is that it's about work. We've always talked things out before, but now he's just clammed up. He'll barely talk to me, and he's almost completely stopped talking to the girls, and it seems like he's avoiding them. He's never been that way with them.
I asked Charlie if he'd be willing to talk about it, and he said he would, but not tonight. He made an appointment for the next week. But he didn't keep that appointment and 2 other appointments. I didn't see him until 5 weeks later. Charlie finally kept the appointment and returned to my office a few days after Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was captured by the task force, August 31, 1985.
I'm not sleeping well or much. I use sleeping pills so I can fall asleep, but I either have a nightmare or I wake up sweating and worried. I can't stop thinking about my work. I even think about it when I'm surfing, and that's just not like me. I just can't relax. I'm always tense and I'm explosive. I can't believe how I'm treating the girls. I blow up over little things they do. Normal girl stuff I used to think was cute, but almost everything they do makes me blow up.
Posttraumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is a serious psychological problem that can happen to anyone, even battle-hardened soldiers, Marines, firefighters, and police officers. Charlie, is it okay to talk about what's going on? Are you having any nightmares or thoughts you can't shake?
Okay, I think I can talk about it now. We got the bad guy, but I've never had something like this hit me so hard. I've dealt with a lot of terrible stuff, but this one really got to me. I had to interview a young woman and her husband that this guy had raped and shot. They both survived, but they're really messed up, really messed up. She's just a few years older than my eldest daughter, and she even looks like her. Every time I look at the girls, I think about this woman. He broke into their house in a nice neighborhood, and I can see her tied up and watching this guy shoot her husband, and then everything else that happens. I mean, this is fucked. I just can't stop thinking about it. In the nightmares, I'm stuck in cement, and I can't stop my family from getting hurt. I can't protect them. I really don't care about myself, but I can't stand the idea of them getting hurt. I wake up so pissed off, I just can't go back to sleep.
Do you think that's why you're avoiding your daughters?
Yeah, I suppose so, but then I also don't want to let them out of my sight. I think about how this guy was raised. His favorite uncle used to brag to him about how he abused women when he was a soldier, an American soldier. This guy's uncle was supposedly a Green Beret, and he's bragging about raping and killing women to this 10-year-old nephew. This world is really a mess. Sometimes I wish I never had kids. There's so many bad people. I don't trust anyone anymore. My wife and my partner, and that's it.
Charlie's brain has been hijacked by trauma. He meets the DSM diagnostic criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. While most people recover from trauma within a short period of time, this has seriously affected Charlie long enough that he needs counseling. Counseling is especially important when PTSD has been caused by intentional trauma. When the trauma has been intentional, imposed by another person, the likelihood of severe PTSD is much greater. Hurting each other violates how our brains were designed. Charlie, to whom do you turn for emotional support?
Emotional support? No one really. My dog, I guess. Well, my partner, but he's retiring, so I don't really know. My wife may be, but I guess I don't know anymore. She's so wrapped up in the girls, we just don't talk like we used to.
Where are you with God?
Well, I guess I believe in God, but I haven't been going to church recently because I'm starting to wonder, and I just don't see the point. You know, honestly, I've been asking myself, if there is really a God, why does he let things like this happen to people? This bad guy was really warped. He hurt a lot of people, and why did God let that happen?
As I do with all such questions, I took it very seriously, but neither promised nor denied that we would find an answer. I introduced Charlie to 3 PTSD treatment strategies that are very effective: brain restorative sleep, personal prayer relaxation, and systematic desensitization. Brain restorative sleep is necessary for brain health and emotional stability and sets the stage for neuroconsolidation. Brain restorative sleep helps the hippocampus create your story, which we're going to explore in a little bit. Brain restorative sleep is impaired by stress hormones such as catecholamines and cortisol, blood sugar levels, and stimulants. We're going to be very careful about exploring those and dealing with them so that we can help people establish the sleep that they need to restore their brains. We're going to give you a handout that you can use with your clients to help them with both daily preparation and bedtime preparation, along with a nighttime ritual to give them good brain restorative sleep. We're also going to teach you personal prayer relaxation, an important part of brain restorative sleep. It's a multi-sensory recollected experience from earlier in your life when you were safe and comfortable and relaxed and aware of God's presence in your life. We use progressive muscle relaxation with a personal word or phrase that's paired with breathing to help you really relax. We're also going to provide you a CD with audio instructions in personal prayer relaxation, instructing you to recall a time when you were aware of the presence of God, and to expand the recollection to include all of the sensory networks so that we can fully harness your brain in deep relaxation. The third strategy that I used with Charlie was systematic desensitization. I introduced him to the SUDS, Subjective Units of Distress Scale, to help him structure his traumatic experience. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the SUDS scale. We're going to provide it to you as a handout and go over it to demonstrate how we use it with people who have anxiety disorders. Basically, it ranks the level of distress from 0, none, to 100, maximum, and helps the person quantify what's wrong and begin to negotiate with it. We'll go over this with you in a few minutes. After introducing Charlie to the SUD scale, we explored the trauma that he had experienced. We identified the specific parts of the trauma and developed a hierarchy from least to most distressing. And then we used a relaxation response to intervene. We taught him personal prayer relaxation, the relaxation response to intervene as we gradually increased the exposure to the trauma. And as we made progress, I circled back around to the question about God. This is of crucial importance because fitting into God's created reality is how we develop and maintain resilience. Charlie, can we talk about God for a minute? It's important because resilience depends on having faith in something or somebody bigger than ourselves. It's kind of like what happened in the United States after Pearl Harbor. Although the attack was traumatic and produced a lot of fear and anxiety, people were psychologically resilient because they felt the unity of the country as it came together.
Yeah, it's just like being on the SWAT team. I mean, you have the confidence to do what you couldn't do alone because you know you're going to get taken care of by the guys that are here with you.
Charlie, has there ever been a time when you felt safe with God?
Well, when I was a kid, my mom would pray with me when I went to bed each night, and when she tucked me in, she'd always say, "God loves you, and I do too." I haven't thought about that for a long time. Probably the last time was at her funeral a couple of years ago. Those were some simple and easy times, some good times.
Are you ever aware of God these days?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of God on Friday when I went out surfing after work as that storm was coming up from Mexico. The waves were huge and they were still not blown out because the wind was shifting. There were incredible clouds. And I just sat there on my board and started thinking about God and how this just doesn't all happen by accident. I thought, how I'm really blessed to have a great wife and daughters. I almost wanted to pray.
Would you consider getting back into a relationship with God? It would probably help improve your emotional resilience.
Well, what does God have to do with my resilience?
Healthy and trustworthy relationships seem to be a key to resilience, like you being on the SWAT team. Our brains are designed to do best when we are in loving and trusting relationships with others. We handle stress better, we're less susceptible to infections and diseases, and we recover from trauma better. Many people find that the most loving and trusting relationship they can have is with God. That's something I'd like you to explore because I've seen it help a lot of other people, including myself. Charlie did very well in counseling. He dealt with his PTSD and returned to full employment and worked until planned retirement. After retirement, he and his wife moved to a rural state and he went back to work, responsible for school safety officers. And he continued to develop his faith, which became an important part of his relationship with his wife. The last time I talked to Charlie, he told me that he still had memories of Ramirez and the young couple that he helped, but that there's not so much sting. That's what he called it. There's not so much sting in my memories. He told me that counseling helped, but mostly I gave it to God. And then he told me something that I've used with my clients since that time, something that was very helpful. It's like I look back on it in my rearview mirror. It's there, but it gets smaller every day. And I think that's really how life is. These traumatic memories never go away, but we help clients reduce their sting. We help clients get on with life, get engaged with God, get engaged with their families, and really get back into the joy that God designed them to experience. And so thank you for joining us as we've explored Charlie's story. I hope that it's been helpful for you. The resources mentioned in this video lesson are available at faithfulbrain.com. The SUD scale and the personal prayer relaxation audio are especially helpful. Feel free to download them and begin to use them with your clients. And of course, you can read about other stories of trauma, redemption, and restoration in Your Faithful Brain, designed for so much more. It's available on Amazon and at many church bookstores. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Take care now.